Hey, what's up guys, MGH here, welcome back to another FIFA 19 related video, and again it's going to be more about the journey, which is coming to an end in FIFA 19. I made a video a couple of days ago, I think it was actually last week, kind of bashing the journey and saying how I think it's almost ruined career mode in a way, and pro clubs, because they've spent so much time developing the journey instead of focusing efforts on career mode, on pro clubs. And of course, we all know they give so much love to Ultimate Team every year because that's the main game mode that attracts players. It makes them all their money. I get that. And I kind of want to, I don't know, come into this video with a bit more of a fair mindset. I feel like I was quite angry at the time when I made that video because they showed the new trailer and how much effort they've put into it. I mean, it looks great. You know, the journey itself is a fantastic mode if you're into that kind of thing. And I think I may have just judged it a little bit in the heat of the moment. So I wanted to bring you this video showing you the latest update to the journey, which is going to be the fact that you can play 3 different characters. And also we're going to have a look at an article that has been put out by EA themselves about the development of the journey. And then I want to talk about what I think it means for FIFA 20, knowing that the journey is coming to an end. And maybe my fears that they've been putting more effort into the journey than career mode, pro clubs, is actually a thing of the past, and that we could see some big improvements in the next game. So straight away you can see we've got 3 characters here. We've got the main character, Alex Hunter, in the middle there. You can see their names here. We've got Danny Williams on the left in the Manchester United shirt, which, by the way, I've got to say I do like the new United shirt. At first when I saw it I thought not so sure about that, but very nice, and the Madrid kit. And then here we've got Kim Hunter, who is, I believe, his stepsister, something like that. And you're going to be able to play all 3 of these characters in the final installment of the journey. So we can go ahead and take a look at the details here, and we'll watch a trailer in a moment. So I need to make sure I get all of this in screen so you guys can see. It says here, meet the world's best. Of course, that means you're going to be bumping into some of the best players in the world. And that's one thing that they've done really well in the journey, and that is bringing in Ronaldo. Have they ever brought in Messi? I don't think they have, because he wasn't on the covers since the journey came out. But of course, Ronaldo's been the main guy. This year we've got Neymar Jr., we've got Alex Morgan, obviously the female footballer, hugely popular. She's a great player. Then we've got Paulo Dybala and Kevin De Bruyne and more. So I'm sure we'll be bumping into many more. And Dybala looks good, doesn't he? Look at this image. This is the Frostbite engine for you. It does create some fantastic renderings, and it's a beautiful image. The graphics are pretty impressive. If we go down here, you can choose your mentor, Kim Hunter's journey, and ultimately they want you to be winning the Champions League, which brings me on to the article actually. So what we're going to do here is kind of go through what Matt Pryor has said. So this is the FIFA 19 producer, and we'll just go through it briefly. I don't want to read out the whole thing. You guys can go and check it out on the EA website. But I wanted to learn more about what was the decision making behind the journey. What was the thought process, and why have they done this in a game that's known for multiplayer, I guess? If you really think about what FIFA is, it's playing your friends, whether it's in person or online, or playing random people, very competitive game. Lots of esports, you know, that's big these days with FIFA. Why make a solo offline feature like the journey? I didn't really get it. So reading through this has been interesting. I see it. I do understand why they've done it, and they have done a nice job of it. I just still have the opinion that they should have been focusing more on what's already in the game and not adding to it. But, you know, I've already had my thoughts on that. So obviously the main thing to take away from this whole video is the fact that this is the final year and you're going to be playing as 3 characters, and that's going to be great. But it will not be in FIFA 20, so we can hope for some more improvements in other areas of the game. So in FIFA 19, the journey returns for its final chapter. What do you feel makes a successful trilogy? And actually further down here, they ask, you know, was it always going to be a trilogy? And the fact is, yes, it was always going to be a 3-part series, I guess, and they would have planned this years in advance. I know they worked on the first part for about 2 years or so before, I believe, so they knew it would only be a 3-year thing. So maybe, you know, maybe for FIFA 20 already they've been knowing that this is coming to an end, and they're already thinking about improving that. So one of the things I want to talk about here was our goal was to create an experience that can be enjoyed in its own right, and that does not necessitate playing the Journey 1 and 2 for it to be understandable and engaging. So that's actually a big thing for me, and one of my main worries, not just of the Journey but any game like it, is that if you don't play the old stuff, the new stuff won't make sense. I don't like that in a game where you feel like you have to play all the old content to understand what's going on. That's not going to be the case. They're even saying in this interview that if you've never played FIFA before, the Journey in this game is going to be really good for you to learn how to play the game, catering for new players, which is ultimately the goal here. They wanted to bring in a new breed of players to play the Journey. It's completely different to anything else on FIFA. I don't think that our players could have predicted where we took the Journey to after the first instalment. This was key to keeping it interesting and is something that will make for a successful trilogy in the Journey. Champions, that's what this is being called, basically, the Champions. And another great image, and this is what I was talking about in my last video with big stadium banners and pictures. I don't know what these are called, which is really cool. I love that. It's going to be odd though seeing Alex Hunter. I mean, they could have Zidane or someone, or R9 maybe. We don't need to talk about that one so much. We'll watch this in just a moment. This is an interesting bit, so make sure I've got it in the screen. How does the integration of the Champions League affect player choices in the Journey Champions? Now, the reason I think this is important is because this should be in career mode. Of course, in the Journey, you're going to have to make choices, and whether or not they actually change the game that much, it does. You take a different route sometimes to get to the same point, and that's good. If you want to replay the story, you can change your options. You can say different things and do different things. We need that element in career mode, I feel like. So if they're doing this because of a thing like Champions League coming into the game, and they're making the story revolve around that a lot, that gives me hope for FIFA 20 career mode. Now that we've got the Champions League and Europa League, it will be in FIFA 20 as well. Maybe this year they can develop more of a storyline, a bit more of a, I don't know, just a bit more of an immersive feel to career mode. At the moment, you pick a team, you buy players, you win trophies. There's no real feeling like you're the manager. You're making decisions that actually impact what you're doing. And I think that's going to be an absolutely vital component to career mode in the future. So the Champions League represents what most people consider to be the pinnacle of club football, and has a major impact for Alex and Danny as it forms the main narrative arc of their stories. Notice how they haven't talked about his sister. I forgot his name already. Her name, sorry. Kim Hunter. I mean, you're going to be playing as Kim Hunter in, obviously, women's football, and I'm guessing it's going to be more to do with the national team and not a club team, which is still cool, by the way. I really liked, actually, that they brought women's football into FIFA. It's just not fleshed out, and not many people, of course, want to play as the women's team if there's no reason to do it. There's no career mode for it. It's just custom tournaments, really, isn't it? Which, you know, it's just like playing the men's game. It's just they're women. There's no difference, really. If you really want to read more about how they actually build the Journey and all the efforts they put into it, this is definitely a good read. And he gives a little bit of an opinion on whose story he preferred working with and developing. I'm hoping he says Alex Hunter. Actually, let's see. Oh, okay. Kim Hunter as a character has been special for the whole team. She represents a significant step forward, not only for FIFA as a game, but also the sport of football. And it's very true. Matt's correct in saying that, you know, let's be honest, men's football is hugely popular and more so than women's football. So it's great that a game like FIFA, the biggest sports game in the world, can introduce Kim Hunter and, you know, a playable female in a football game, which is really good. So with the familiarity of Journey 1 and 2, do audience expectations for final instalment in the trilogy become harder to manage? I think they're kind of talking about, is it as good as the last two? I'm not the person to talk to. I didn't play the first two more than half an hour, really. Right, let's see if we can... okay. So this is something I talked about a while back. When they announced that the Journey was going to be going to Real Madrid with Alex Hunter, the first thing that popped into my head was Ronaldo. He's the picture boy, but he's left. He's gone to Juventus. That's going to be a problem, surely. They would have developed a whole story about you meeting Ronaldo and playing with him, but no, he's gone to Juventus. So there are always surprises and challenges, but we have an incredible team who are pretty good at dealing with unexpected turns should they arise. Cristiano Ronaldo transferring to Juventus presented a number of challenges, but that's the world of football. I bet they were gutted when he went to Juventus, and they could not have seen that come in, so I don't blame them. What else do we have here? Did you always want the trilogy to culminate in players being able to compete in the UEFA Champions League final? So this is an opinion of his, which I might disagree on, actually. He's saying here that it's the ultimate prize in football, right there, and that he wanted it to end with you winning the Champions League, if you can do it. I think they should have gone to the World Cup. It's World Cup year. They could have done something with that, maybe. I know the World Cup's over now, but I guess it's a little bit more difficult to do something when it's in the past, even if it is a couple of months after the World Cup final and not that too distant. But is it the biggest prize in football? Well, he's saying club football, I know, but in football in general, you would rather win the World Cup than the Champions League, right? I can't help but feel like maybe you could have taken Alex Hunter with England to the World Cup final, you know, and maybe played France, something like that. But in club football, yes, fair enough. Champions League is where it's at, and of course, that's one of the main improvements in the FIFA series for this year. That's the fact they've got the Champions League license. Ultimately, what do you want our players to experience in the Journey Champions? If they are new to FIFA, then the Journey Champions is a great place to start. That doesn't really sound very interesting for me, someone who's played FIFA a lot. It will teach you how to play the game and educate you about the wider world of football. I mean, that's cool. I hope you get to see a lot more behind the scenes and, you know, dealing with agents and all that stuff. It's a mode for everyone to have a great time, connect with the characters and enjoy each of the very different stories we tell, and then never play it again because it's a one-time thing. So I'm personally very relieved that it's coming to an end. And you know what, though? I think it looks good. I think this is actually going to be the best Journey experience so far. They've had 2 years of experience now. Third year, we're going into the final year. They're going to go out with a boom, and hopefully it's really good fun to play. But this means, of course, that they've now got a year without having to develop anything new when it comes to the Journey. So here's what I hope happens. I'm sure they've got different areas of their team. I always forget this word. It really annoys me. Departments. That's the word I'm looking for. They've probably got a department that works on Ultimate Team, Career Mode. Do they have one that works on Pro Clubs? I don't know. And the Journey. And I'm sure the Journey team is huge. And I'm sure they employ a lot of companies that are outsourced. You know, they probably can't do it all by themselves. But what this means now is they could probably disperse that department and spread it and maybe give Career Mode some love. Give them some more guys that can work on story mode driven content, because that's what they've been doing. That's exciting to me. We're going to get some guys working on Career Mode that have been working on the Journey. And what have they been building? Storylines, you know, an actual single player experience. So that could be huge for Career Mode. When it comes to Pro Clubs, which I'm still of the opinion it's got the most potential in any game mode to be the most fun. They could do so much more with it. Whether or not they will, I don't know. It seems like they don't actually care so much about Pro Clubs, which is a big shame. But Career Mode, at least, I think this is all good news, guys. I think that great, it looks good, but it's coming to an end, which is the best news. And I've got this opinion. That's just me. I know everyone else may have their own opinions. You might love the Journey, and you're really sad that it's coming to an end. But if you're a big fan of Career Mode, I think this is a big moment for us. It's a big moment for me as a game changer and part of the Game Changer program. It sounds like I'm able to change the game, but I think that's the wrong title for it, really. I'm able to give feedback directly to the team. So this year, or at least the next few weeks, maybe the next 2 months, are huge for me and fellow Career Mode game changers. They've actually got a few more in the team now. We actually have a chance to steer them in the right direction a little bit. Tell them what we want, and hopefully they'll have time and the resources to actually get it done this year. I've heard that the whole of the development for FIFA 19 has pretty much gone into the gameplay. They've rewritten Frostbite in terms of the animations, the way it plays, and they've spent a lot of time getting the gameplay right. Because let's be honest, it was a little bit dodgy sometimes in FIFA 18. So I guess that's taken a lot of the time, and they haven't been able to flesh out some new features. But no excuses this year. If in FIFA 20 there are no major improvements in Career Mode, I don't know. Beats me. I don't know where and why that would happen. I would be seriously questioning their love for the game, because this is a big year for them. They've now got enough time and hopefully enough resources to get it done. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's just my thoughts on the situation with the Journey. Let me know if you're going to play it. I'm sure a lot of people will play it once and then maybe not again, but it's over now. This is it. Pray for career mode.